A very good morning to you, Mr. Das, and thank you for coming down to our office and taking out time from your very busy schedule.
Good morning.
Good morning. So I will start with this interview.
Alright.
So my first question to you is, how long have you been tutoring, and where do you see yourself 5 years down the line?
I've been tutoring for more than 13 years. In fact, it's almost 14 years. And 5 years down the line, I see myself as an educational consultant for e-learning organizations, distance education institutes, as well as publishing houses. Because I'm also an author for ICSE and CBSE books, as well as some medical and engineering books.
Okay, that's like really great. So like, what are the strategies that a candidate must possess in order to crack SSC exam? Here SSC means School Service as well as Staff Selection Commission.
Okay. For both, since both of them are competitive examinations, students need to practice a lot, and they should have that subject knowledge. Now, since they are competitive examinations, they will be tested on their mathematical skills as well as language skills. So even if the students hail from the humanities background and feel that they are weak in mathematics, but there's no age limit to learning. So one can sincerely go down to practicing those things, and there are lots of good books available in the market where you will find the tricks shown how to solve those mathematical problems. As well as there are numerous good tutors, very good institutes where you can pursue these courses. But at the end of it all, what matters is how much effort you put in to practice the sums. Not only sums, everything.
At the end of the day, it's hard work that matters, like how much effort the candidate is putting in.
Of course.
So moving on to my next question, like since mathematics has also been forte for you, so in your opinion, what are the reasons that are culminating to the disinterest that students are building for mathematics? Like they're building a fear for numbers. Why is it so?
It would be absolutely wrong to say that students are harboring a fear for numbers, but the problem is that maybe mathematics is not being taught in a very interesting manner. I've been teaching mathematics for the past 14 years, and believe me, when I was in school, even I was very much afraid of mathematics. But what happened? I got a very good teacher, who not only explained the sums, explained the processes, but literally solved the sums with us. So at the end of the day, what you need to think is that every problem has a solution. So you have to think hard, and the solutions will come automatically. Thereby you will find that gradually that love for mathematics develops, especially the harder kind of mathematics, which involves calculus and trigonometry and algebra. Okay. So everything percolates down to the fact that whether you are practicing it or not.
Okay, so you're saying the role of a teacher here also matters a lot.
Of course, the teacher does matter a lot, but of course the teacher matters a lot. But then one should also put in the individual effort, because until and unless you put in the individual effort, no problem can be overcome. You won't find a solution to any problem.
So you have seen both sides of the coin, mathematics as well as humanities.
Yes.
So there are certain myths about studying humanities, maybe pursuing humanities in the higher classes. Okay, so how do you help break those myths and preconceived notions?
See, most of the preconceived notions and myths relating to humanities is the lack of knowledge. Okay, I'll give you an example. You have heard about Albert Einstein and his theory of relativity. Do you know from where did Albert Einstein draw that inspiration of finding the theory of relativity? He found it from an Italian philosopher named Giordano Bruno of the 16th century. He was a contemporary of Shakespeare, and he dealt in philosophy. He was not a scientist. But Einstein studied his philosophy thoroughly and realized that whatever Bruno had said, it was basically scientific, although it was said in a philosophical manner. So you see, the humanities, the arts and the sciences are interrelated with each other. They cannot exist independent of each other. For example, if you are an architect and you want to construct a building, before constructing the building you need to have a plan, you need to have a design. So when you make that start making the design, you are basically drawing, you are imagining, you are using your imaginative faculties. So again, see, the humanities and the sciences are related to each other. It would be absolutely wrong to say that there is no scope in studying humanities in the higher classes. So if that is the thing, if that is true, then is it that none of the humanities students get jobs?
Very true, very pertinent question.
Okay, and is it true that all engineers and doctors and all those who have studied the sciences land up excellent jobs? That is not. So one has to, whatever one studies, one has to study it properly. There should be a love and respect for that subject. Until and unless that exists, nobody can succeed in life.
You should always love what you are doing. That's
Right.
the key thing. So, moving on to my next question, like, what is the role of spoken English in landing a good job, especially if a candidate is aiming for a corporate job?
Now, see, the concept of spoken English is rather vague in the present world. People enroll themselves in numerous spoken English institutes where thinking that they will acquire a mastery of the language. But what they end up doing is they keep solve grammar books and textbooks and all those things. So there is hardly any interaction between the student and the teachers. They hardly get to speak even one sentence of English. So if you are talking about spoken English, it means the language which is spoken. Okay. Now, if you are coming from a vernacular background, how can you develop it? We always remember that any language is learned only by two methods: by watching through close observation and by listening properly. Now, suppose your vernacular language is Bangla. Do you remember when you learned to speak Bangla and when did you learn the rules of Bangla grammar? You don't remember. But it is true that you learned to speak Bangla first, then you went on to learn Bangla grammar. Similarly, it happens with English. If you are in an environment where English is spoken continuously around you, okay, you will automatically catch the language, develop a grasp of the language. You won't need to enroll yourself in any spoken English institute. So there again, you have to make that conscious effort to be in such an environment. If such an environment is missing, my suggestion is that listen to the news, English news regularly, okay, and try and follow the lip movements, because at the subconscious level, our eyes do follow the lip movements when each and every sound comes out. So that is how you learn a language, not only English, any language. And that is very, very important to succeed in the corporate sector. But that is not the most important thing. The most important thing is emphasizing on your skills and showcasing them.
True, very true. So my last question to you is if you could share your experience with MyPrivateTutor so far.
MyPrivateTutor is a very unique concept. It helps to, in fact, it uses technology to a great extent, and that is very, very important in today's world. It makes you very much internet friendly, not only internet friendly, but technically it sharpens your skills, and you are not only studying, your skills are getting enhanced, which will ultimately help you in the corporate sector or whatever sector you go to, even government sector. Because you see, today's world is a virtual world. Everything is done almost virtually. So if you are not aware of the things that go on in the virtual world, then it will be very difficult for you to face a real life situation in whatever sphere of work you are in. So I think MyPrivateTutor is doing a great job in disseminating education online, and that should be welcomed wholeheartedly.
Thank you, Mr. Das. Thank you so much for your feedback, and it's always lovely to hear such testimonials from our client. And thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much once again.